Welcome into the studio. I'm doing a review on a quite novel sharpener here, this small Panda, and it's from a superstore in the UK. Okay, so it's called Tesco's, the superstore if you're from another country. So it's a rotary sharpener, what I'd call a crank handle sharpener, and it costs just £2. Okay, now I was looking at these about a year ago. I couldn't get hold of any myself, and there were some reviews saying how fantastic they were, especially for pastel pencils. And recently a member on my Patreon channel mentioned that she wanted to try them out as well, and fortunately I've managed to get hold of one myself. So here next to it is my trusty old Swordfish Sharpener. That's what you've seen on the reviews over the last few years, and that's what I use myself to sharpen pastels. There's nothing exceptionally special about the Swordfish. Pastels is such an abrasive type of medium, it's going to blunt any sharpener within time. But this one, the thing I like about it is that once it eventually goes blunt after a few months or so, you can take the actual blade out of it. So that's it. Okay, and just replace that part. I get these on Amazon for around about £5. The thing I like is that I've only got one unit. I'm not discarding lots of plastic every couple of months, and I'm just keeping the unit and getting a new blade. So when these are reduced on Amazon, as I said, down to around £5, I buy 4 or 5 of these and they last me a long time. So let's take a closer look at this little cheap £2 sharpener, and can it possibly compare in any way to my regular Swordfish sharpener? I haven't tried this at all. I haven't opened it. I know nothing about how good it is. So let's take a look. Okay, so it's just got instructions in the bottom. We know how to work it. It's nothing complicated there. On the front, you've got it's just a pull out as per the Swordfish one. Does exactly the same. You just pull it out. This little piece of metal locks in. They both work the same way, as you can see there. And just out of interest, let's take the back apart, because this is how you do it on the Swordfish as well. And there inside is the blade, and as far as I know, you can't replace these with a sharpener that's just £2. I doubt very much that they'd bother with the replacement, but you can see the difference in the size there of the actual blade. Okay, the hole in the end is larger on this one. That's good. There you go. It is slightly larger. That's the bit I screw actually onto the back of the handle. Okay, so you can see the blade itself much larger on the Swordfish one. So let's pop that back in. You can usually just screw them in. It's a little bit fiddly on this one. There you go. I've dirtied that a little bit with my fingers now. So you just pull it out, and then to put the pencil in the front, what you do, because it won't go in because the jaws are in there, just pull maybe one of these ear to the side, and you see the jaws open. Okay, so just see if you can see that. Exactly the same as the Swordfish one. The difference with Swordfish is that you get a hole on the back, you get this clamp with it. That goes in, clamps to your desk. Okay, now with this little cheap sharpener, you get the hole on the back, just the same, you don't get the clamp. I've got a few of these, so that's not a problem. It fits in so I can clamp it to my desk. Okay, but normally you wouldn't get that. That can be a bit of a problem, because then you've got to kind of put your pencil inside and hold it and sharpen it at the same time, and kind of your hand hits the desk. It really needs to be on the end of a desk, you know, held up like that, so you can sharpen it easily. So what I'll do, I'll mount both of these up onto the end of the desk, and we'll have a go at sharpening. Okay, so here we go. The Panda looks really strange. Not had a sharpener like that before. It's just a child's one, normally found in the children's toy section in that superstore I mentioned. I don't know if it's available in other superstores. I have seen them on eBay. they were much more expensive than the £2. To start off with, I will say both the sharpeners don't do larger pencils like Conti, but you can get the regular Carbothello pit in there, and I'll also try out a Caran d'Ache as well. That's a bit larger. Okay, so I've got a few different pencils here, so let's just give this Panda a go. Let's see if it works at all. Other animals are available apparently. Okay, so I put that ear in, pull it out, that connects. This is a Gioconda. That's a soft pastel pencil, difficult to sharpen. So in fact, let's not go with the difficult ones first. Let's go with the easier ones. So the hard pencils are Pitt, and let's just give it a go. Sounds incredibly smooth, easy. Just a few turns is all you normally need, and well, that's really sharp. That's good. I don't sharpen my pencils to a pin tip. Okay, looks a little bit like it's ground the end a bit, but let's try one in, this is Pitt again, I'll try one in the Swordfish, and I put a brand new blade in the Swordfish. Okay, so they're both absolutely brand new. Sound about the same. Okay, it needs, because that was a different shape on the end, because it's a brand new pen, so I'll give it a few more turns just to make sure it's really done the trick. There you go. That's about as sharp as I would normally do a pastel pencil. The wood is really nice and smooth on there as well. I like that. I don't like the wood being chewed up at all. Okay, let's put that one down. Let's get a Carbothello. So that's just slightly softer than the Pitt, but only slightly. Let's get that in the Panda, stick it in the Panda's nose and give that one a go. This one sounds different than this one's a bit, I don't know, smoother. I think it's because the blade is smaller, and that's quite shocking actually how it works. There is a different shape, you can see. It's more of an angled, and you're seeing a little bit more of the nib itself than the Carbothello. It's not as evenly, as the Swordfish, it's not as evenly cut around. You can see it's going up and down there. Okay, so it's not like central, I don't think, as much. Let's give a few more a go. That's what it's all about. Let's see how it's doing it. We'll make another comparison. So 4 goes round. So you can clearly see now how it's not even with the wood casing. But it's £2, it's sharpening the pencil. I'm a little bit surprised. Let's give it a go of something difficult. I don't know if this pencil is damaged or not. It's Gioconda, really soft, extremely difficult to sharpen. I won't go too much. Nib is still there. It's doing something with, you can see a little bit of silver or something on the nib. Don't know why it's doing that. Let's give it see if it'll do a little bit more. Like I say, this one notoriously breaks. Seems good. Let's try my Swordfish as well. Let's try a white one in the Swordfish. The lighter the colours, the more difficult normally to sharpen. See, that's got a little bit of it around there as well, so not substantially different at all. They're both working really well. Use a Derwent pencil. Let's give that a go. These are much more prone to break than Pitt and Carbothello. I'm not sure what happened there. It's like as if it didn't want to sharpen. Let's give it another go. Okay, so it's not sharpening that anymore. I don't know why. Perhaps you've got something stuck in there. Perhaps that's as sharp as it'll go. Just give it a little twirl in the swordfish to see what's happening. So that took it down, made it a bit sharper. Let's see if there's something stuck in here. If there's something stuck, what you would normally do is just look inside. No, nothing stuck, so I'm not sure why it didn't sharpen that one. Let's see. Okay, another Carbothello. Perfectly fine. What can I say? I am surprised. Let's give that another go or two. There's really not a substantial difference in the sharpening. It is producing that mark on there. I'll take it apart, I think, and I'll have a look why it's doing that, but there's really not a great deal of difference at all. As I said, this one's a little bit more angled, as you can see, but let's try a Caran d'Ache in there. That'll be the test for it. Okay, Caran d'Ache, they're the most difficult ones to sharpen. Notoriously break the nibs in there, very soft, especially the lighter colours. Again, I don't own many of these because I rather sharpen this way than with a blade, and I've found sometimes even with a blade they just break time after time after time, so I only got a few colours. So these are both very similar colours, so they should be very similar in hardness. Let's try them in both. Let's try the swordfish first. Okay, first thing I notice, I got to ram that into the swordfish because it doesn't really fit into the hole. It's too tight to fit. But if you can get it to go in, it will sharpen. Let's go 5. The problem then is getting it out without it snapping. Okay, I could go a bit sharper. Now, the thing you could do, you can see how it's pushing into the wood. You could just get a bit of sandpaper and file that down a bit, but it's done the job. But like I said, the pencil is really a bit too big, or the hole is too small, whichever way you want to look at it. I'll say, okay, so that's with a brand new swordfish blade in there. When these blades get blunt, they're more prone to snapping the pencils. When they get really, really blunt, they won't sharpen them, okay? So that's why I always keep spare blades. When I'm coming to the end of a drawing, I like to have 2 swordfish sharpeners go in. One of them will have a new blade in, or a very good blade, so I can get the nice details on the end, okay? Let's try it in the panda's nose again. Pull it out, ear in, fits in the hole perfectly. It's probably 0.5 millimeter or so larger in the hole. That's all it is. Will it sharpen it though? Okay, I'm turning around, nothing's happening, it hasn't done anything at all. Nothing's happening, so for some reason it's not pulling in. Let's have another go, let's make sure it's not that. Try a different pencil in there, because this is what happened on the one before. So that works perfect. That's super sharp, but that would obviously break as soon as you touch it on the paper. So what's going on with this larger? Looking at that, there's an edge on there, like a shoulder. So it looks like it's trying to pull in, so it's going through the outer hole, but it's not actually going in the blade, I'd say. Let's try a different colour, because sometimes the wood casing's a little bit different in size. Try pushing it a bit. No, for some reason it's not taking it in. Let's see why. Needs to go in there. Seems okay, but for some reason it's not pushing it all the way in. That goes all the way through the machine. I'm not sure why that's happening at all. Let's get that back in again, give it another go. No, even if I'm pushing it in, it won't take it in. So it's, for some reason, it's catching on an edge there, and that won't do it. Let's give the old Swordfish a go again. See, that pencil's slightly smaller, so that fit in just, and I mean barely fit in, but it will do it. Okay, let's once again try another. It's Carbothello again, actually Gioconda, the soft one. It's really, really good. Now, how long this blade will last is another thing. I'll try and update you at some point on it. But the issue I've got with it, you know, is sharpening really well. The issue I've got is once it blunts, and they don't last that long normally. I'll have to test it. I'll give it a good go now with some pencils and see how many it would do. But then you've got to throw everything away. All this plastic goes in the bin and you start again. It's £2, okay, that's great value for money, even throwing it away, but I don't like the fact that we're throwing things away all the time. There's the shavings in there, and the shavings in my Swordfish one as well, roughly about the same really. One's not really any finer than the others. I know the Swordfish normally lasts about 3 months or so. Depends obviously on how much you're actually using it, and I do put a graphite pencil through it after every few pastel ones that I use. Seems to help to lubricate the blade. I'll do the same with the Panda as well. Okay, I've sharpened loads of pencils with both of these now. The Swordfish still working perfect. The little cheap Panda, that's a picked pencil in there, wobbling on my table a bit. Still working perfect, but one thing to keep in mind, it will not sharpen the Derwent pastels. Okay, so if I pop that in there all the way in, won't do it. Creates that ridge on the shoulder, won't work with that. Caran d'Ache, put that in, exactly the same, won't go in even if I apply pressure, creates that ridge. But it seems it does work with the Gioconda, it does work with the Pit, it does work with the Carbothello. They're all perfectly fine, but they won't go anything larger than that. Okay, so at least it won't now after I've done a few pencils. That's not got that ridge. I think with the ones that are slightly larger shafts, some of them will just go in and work, but they haven't now for a little while. And I think it's not because the shaft is larger, it's not being able to pull into the mechanism fully. So it's fun. It's surprisingly good. Surprised me how good the actual sharpening was. It's nice and smooth, creates a lovely tip to it. Swordfish is still better for me, mainly because I can just put those replacement blades in. I don't want to be throwing things out all the time. I can't do half of my pencils in this, so I can't do any Caran d'Ache, can't do any Derwent, can't do the Conti. This won't do the Conti either, but at least I can get away with the others in it. So it's a bit of fun. It'll get you out of trouble if you want it just for Pit and Carbothello. Can't tell how long it's going to last because it's still going, and I probably put 20 odd pastel pencils through it, so that's pretty good anyway. If you wanted to, give it a try and see how it goes, especially for that price. But obviously keep in mind the environmental factor that you're throwing them out all the time. If you're using coloured pencils, that's probably a different matter. Coloured pencils certainly don't weigh sharpeners down or blunt them anywhere near the way pastels do at all. So, you know, this could be a bit of fun and lasts a really long time as well. So hope you've enjoyed it. See you on the next video. Just wanted to quickly mention my Patreon channel for those looking for even more in-depth art instruction. It's packed full of pastel videos, oil videos as well, and those videos are being added to new ones every single month. I have videos for the complete beginner that have never done pastels or oils before with just limited supplies, and I take you from the very first blocking in all the way through to the final detailed drawings and paintings. I've also got some really unusual subjects as well, and in all of my videos I always take you through all the details. You see everything I do, how I create my work. But it's not just for beginners, it's also for novices, and I also show the best artwork that I've ever done as well. And this particular elephant video spans 6 hours, so you know you're going to see tons and tons of details, tips and techniques. And as mentioned, I've got lots of oil videos on there too, so there really is something for everybody, and you get access to hundreds of hours worth of videos for just $4. Now over 1,000 members strong. Hope to see you there soon.